No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You've got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah, try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
It's time for the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show from Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the YouTube chat or Facebook comments, and we'll include the best ones on the show. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view their full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise post-game show from Bronco Nation News.
Well, how we doing, Boise State fans? That's a tough one for the Broncos. We were back in the media workroom. Had some UNLV writers out there by the court and didn't want to bother them. So hopefully you can hear me okay. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is working okay. But that is a tough one for Boise State. I tried to warn everybody this morning. I had a bad feeling about this one for Boise State. And UNLV comes in and gets 31 combined second chance points and points off turnovers. They control the offensive glass, which Boise State had really done a really good job of. I mean, Nevada only had 2 offensive rebounds the other day. And UNLV had 2 in the first 3 minutes of the game. UNLV gets 13 offensive rebounds. They turn that into 16 second chance points. And final score 68-64. UNLV beats Boise State. The Broncos fall to 3-1 in Mountain West play. And after such a strong week last week, so much momentum in this, going forward here, they kind of really halt that and bring things to a slow a little bit. They got to win the game against San Diego State now. That becomes a massive game on Saturday against San Diego State. You can't lose 2 straight home games in this league and expect to be a team that's going to compete for the league title. And that one's going to hurt come Selection Sunday. That's a tough one, and we'll see what the metrics end up saying. I mean, UNLV certainly is better, I think, than the record shows. They're going to win some games, and maybe that ends up being a quad 2 type of loss. They're up to 77 now at Ken Palm. Boise State drops to 57. So a lot of the basically the Nevada game, you just canceled everything out that you did in the Nevada game by losing this one here tonight. And again, just some uncharacteristic things. They had some missed free throws, which cost them in this one. 2 1-and-1s were big that Boise State lost. That missed the front end. They missed another free throw. And again, gave up 13 offensive rebounds. I mean, Boise State only got 21 defensive rebounds. So essentially, every time UNLV would take a shot, 1 out of 3 times, almost 2 out of 3, UNLV was getting the ball back. And so there was a key one late. Boise State just couldn't get the rebound there late. And that really hurt them. And overall just wasn't a great night for Boise State. The bench was pretty much non-existent. We're going to hear Leon Rice. I asked him about the bench, and he got a little defensive, but you had 4 starters play at least 18 minutes in the second half. In 4 conference games, you now have 15 total points from the bench. So the bench certainly has to do more, but they haven't been given a ton of opportunity to do that. Again, 4 starters played at least 18 minutes in the second half. You saw Jace Whiting come in briefly, and there was I forget if it was a turnover or something, and then right away he went back out, and Roddy Anderson came back in. So they're just not the bench is not producing much right now. Again, they had 2 points tonight. And in 4 games, only 15 total points from your bench. So we did ask Leon Rice about that. You'll hear about that coming up in a few minutes. We did talk to Kevin Krueger, the UNLV coach as well. Jaden Finch was over there in his post-game media availability, so we'll hear from Kevin Krueger. Give UNLV credit, man. They battled. They came in here. They were the better team. They were the tougher team. They seemed to have more energy, more intensity tonight. And, again, I thought that, Boise State just got into a hole, got down 10 points fairly early in the game, and just never really fully recovered. UNLV led the game for 36-22. Boise State only had the lead for 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So tough one for Boise State. And I know you guys are wanting to talk about the refereeing here, but that's not why Boise State lost this game. There were a couple of times it felt like Boise State drove the rim and didn't get calls. But again, I don't think that the referees were why Boise State lost this game. But there are a lot of other factors, and certainly Boise State did not play particularly great in this game. Let's hear from Kevin Krueger, the UNLV coach. We'll hear from Kevin Krueger, his thoughts after the win.
That this team is playing with the utmost confidence right now. Is that what you saw from your team tonight?
It was, and that's what, as a coach, it was what I was nervous about. When you have as emotional of a game as you have on Saturday, and you come out on the wrong side of it, that's your concern. It's just, and we tried to beat it over their head. They should be walking with their chests out, their chins up, and because they had at that point played 40 minutes of really good basketball in conference, and I thought tonight added to it. It's been 120 minutes of really good basketball, and we just got to keep building on that, understanding that all we did was earn another tough game in Colorado State on Friday.
Was it apropos that you were in the same situation tonight, up by 4, defending the final possession? It
was. Thankfully this time, I guess, there was less seconds. It was probably less opportunity, but yeah, I mean, when Webbs hit the front of the rim, I'm not going to lie, my heart dropped a little bit on that second free throw. I was kind of a little concerned because it's just kind of been one of those seasons so far when whatever can go wrong, kind of seem to find a way in some form or fashion. So, but to see that ball go in, they deserve it. They deserve to have a big road victory, and especially off the bounce back on Saturday. And again, should be another exciting one Friday.
Rob Whaley said he kind of took this game personally, wanted to show Boise State why he chose UNLV. Are you glad you went and checked him out at Southern Idaho 2 hours from here?
Absolutely. Coach Perry did a great job with Rob and Big Rob, and just, but staying with it, obviously. And I think that level of trust that Coach Perry and Rob have is what has allowed Rob to be successful, because his confidence struggled a little bit at the beginning of the year. There was a game in the St. Mary's game he played only the last possession of double overtime. It was his only minutes, and kind of since then it just feels like he was maybe took a breath and he just started having fun. Didn't overthink things, and I mean, but he's kind of become our X factor. He's somebody he's physical. He's mobile. He's able to do a lot of things out there and be a piece that that we don't have outside of him.
I think Webster scored the final 6 points for you guys, 4 from the free throw line. Is he kind of your designated free throw guy down the stretch, and what's the confidence you have in him in those situations to come through?
Yeah, I mean, I think last year he missed one, I believe, or the season before maybe. So he's always been a great free throw shooter. He's always been a great shooter. The three may not be falling like it is, but that's because he's one of the top keys on everyone's scouting report. But he's done nothing. He's the same guy every day. He works incredibly hard. He went and grabbed that ball and took those foul shots on the first two. He hit the floater obviously to go back up 4. And when we hadn't scored in a while, and they were scoring, they were putting their head down and getting downhill and making free throws. So for him to hit the floater and then the 2 free throws and then the 2 more to kind of seal it was just great to see for him, because again, he deserves it.
You said that this team deserved this win. What does it say about the resolve of the team that you're able to bounce back so quickly from an emotional loss and win a really tough game on the road here?
Yeah, I mean, I think when I say I think they deserve it, I just think because of how they just bounced back after Saturday and how they just quickly were able to focus their attention on Boise. And it's not like, you're playing one of the best teams, arguably the best team in the conference at their place, and we talked about it. They're as confident as anyone in the country, just like Utah State was when we played them. And it's a challenge. You got to enjoy the fight of it. And that's what I mean when I say they deserved it. I just felt they deserved it because their intent, their preparation was. It couldn't have been any better. They got over it a lot quicker than I did, and it turned out to be good for them. And that's why it's just really great to see.
You're trending in the right direction on a bunch of things, but one of the most important, I think, is the fast starts. So since the San Diego State game, what did you do? Switch got flipped. How are you getting them to come out so well at the beginning of games?
I wish it was something as simple as just, I'm super coach and, I did everything. But no, I think it's just, it's something we talk about, something we, bring to attention. And this has been a group that, when we bring things to attention and we talk about it, we discuss it, they're just older, they're experienced, I think they get it, they see it. And once they understand it, they do a really good job with it. And I think the San Diego State game opening, it concerned us in a good way, and it created a little bit of anxiety that we need to get off to better starts, and because the teams in this conference are really good.
Well, you can take credit for the opening alley-oop, and that was a drawn-up play, right?
I don't want to give you all my secrets.
Okay.
No, that was DJ and Caleb just making good plays.
There's Kevin Krueger, the UNLV coach. Again, what a performance from UNLV coming in here. Nation's longest home court winning streak is now gone. Boise State, 22 in a row, and now they're going to have to start a new streak against San Diego State on Saturday. Let's take some of your comments and thoughts here. We'll hear from Leon Rice, Tyson Degenhart coming up as well. Logan starts us off, have to be able to make the key moment free throws. Yeah, you had Tyson Degenhart missing a 1-and-1 with 3:29 to go, down by 4. Omar Stanley missed a 1-and-1 when you're down 2 with 2:04 to go. You could have tied the game there with 2 minutes left. And then with 1:30 to go, you give up an offensive rebound at the end of the shot clock, and they end up scoring. That was a really tough one as well. Let's see here. Missed free throws. First thing, horrid refereeing. Second thing, whatever. Move on and forget it. The refereeing wasn't great, but I don't think the refereeing is what lost them the game tonight, folks. Let's not go there. Let's not go to the refereeing. There was a couple calls that underneath Boise State didn't get that maybe should have got to the line a couple more times, but I don't look at that game and say Boise State lost because of the officiating. So let's not use that one. Butler lost a bad one. Clemson as well. Not a great day for BSU opponents. Let's see what else here we got. Whaley cooked us. Don't know what we did to motivate the revenge game, but he was dialed in. We need a bench, Nevin says. And yeah, they definitely do. And you look at the stats, as I said, Boise State, 15 bench points in 4 conference games. That's not average. That's total. Boise State has 15 total bench points in 4 games. It's just not going to work. And the problem is they're not getting much opportunity to play to try to give them that. The 4 starters played 18-plus minutes in the second half, and Omar only came out because he was in a little bit of foul trouble. We asked Leon Rice after the game about it. You'll hear from it shortly. He said, hey, the energy drops when the bench comes in. He says when guys come in, it looks different, and he can't have that. And he'd rather play the starters than bench players that aren't producing when they're out there. So you only had 11 minutes for Cam Martin, 9 minutes for Andrew Meadow, and you had 5 minutes for Jace Whiting, but that was it. About 25 total bench minutes for the entire game. And that's, you just see guys like Max Rice play 38 minutes, and he was 3 of 12 from the field. So I'm not sure. I know he's doing a lot of other things to help you win, but you would 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 more minutes of RJ Keene or somebody else off the bench instead of Max Rice. Maybe have Max a little fresher later in the game. I don't know, but another tough shooting night for Max. He was 3 of 12 from the field. All those kind of short floaters and post-up moves that he was making last year just have not fallen for whatever reason this year. It's been tough for him to score from inside the three-point line, which really was a strength of his last year. So only 10 points for Max Rice. Again, he played a team-high 37-34 and goes 3 of 12 from the field. Chibuzo Abo played 35 minutes, 14 points. But as somebody pointed out, I think Abo only took 3 shots in the second half. So he was hitting some huge shots in the first half and then only took 3 shots in the second half. So they got to find a way to get him more involved. Tyson Degenhart, a little bit of a slow start again for him, but he came on strong, scored 5 points late in the first half, then kind of took over in the second half. 24 points for Tyson on 8 of 16 from the field. He played 36 minutes. So you got to get Tyson going a little further. Manny's about to give up already. He says, lost tonight and a loss against San Diego State will make me question spending my hard-earned money at the Mountain West tournament. I would say that that's a little too early for that, Manny, but I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, and you're entitled to spend it however you'd like, and I'm not going to bash you for that, but I do think it's a little early to be giving up on this team. It's going to be a very tough game on Saturday, but then you've got Fresno and home game against Utah State after that. So still a lot of winnable games left, and a home game against San Diego State, you win that, and all of a sudden I think you're back on track. But even a loss, I don't think is ends your season by any means. So you put yourself in a little bit of a hole, no doubt, though, when you lose a home game to a team that's not in the projected top 6 of the standings. And let's give UNLV a little credit. I mean, that's a team that beat New Mexico, should have beat Utah State, and now goes on the road and wins at Boise State. That's a team that's going to win some games this year. So I know that fans are a little disappointed with the loss tonight, and we'll see what the numbers. There's a chance that could be quad 2 by the end of the year, but right now that's a quad 3 loss for Boise State, which is not good. It's their first bad loss, and then we'll take them out of the NCAA tournament field for the time being in pretty much every bracket projection. And it's just it's why I was worried about this game. There was just so much hype on Saturday, and if you win the next 2 games, then all of a sudden you're ranked in the top 25, and all this momentum was building for Boise State, and then now you just lose it all by losing this game. It's a tough loss. You would have been in the top 25. You would have been 4-0 in the league. You would have had a chance to be 5-0 if you beat San Diego State and then be in the top 25. And you would have had a chance to almost take a gimme and you lose to San Diego State. Oh well, if you would have won this game. So it's for a lot of reasons. It's just it's a killer loss for Boise State. There's no other way around it. They were in a great position and had a lot of momentum, and just come back down to earth there and with a tough loss. So let's see what else we got here. Another point about the bench: 2 points, 2 assists, 2 steals. Talking about Robert Whaley Jr., he had a big game tonight. You heard Krueger talking about it. I don't know the story behind that. I know Boise State recruited him, but he came out with a huge game, 18 points, 6 rebounds. He had 5 offensive rebounds, and I think he scored on multiple ones of offensive rebounds. So I thought that that was a big difference in the game was Rob Whaley, and especially early in the game. Again, UNLV busted out to a 10-point lead fairly early in the game. Boise State got it tied or got it close, but was just never fully able to overtake them. Lose to San Diego State, the wheels may start falling off. I think that's a little early. Again, I'm not ready to give up on this team if they lose to, San Diego State. They hit some tough shots, including some threes and buzzer beaters. Hats off to them. Jace and the rest of the bench has lost all confidence. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. They're not having a lot of confidence out there, but they're not getting a lot of time to play through their mistakes and things. So I understand that you have to show that you deserve to be out there, and maybe that's something that's done in practice, but they're not getting a ton of opportunity in the game either. We haven't seen RJ Keene in like 3 games now. Kobe Young hasn't played in a couple games. So, I mean, Jace Whiting only got 5 minutes and 36 seconds even Andrew Meadow played 9 minutes and 30 seconds. So the bench isn't playing much, but just not a ton of opportunities for them to show what they do. So I don't know how you change that if you're a guy on the bench. I guess you have to do better in practice to earn the minutes in the game. But again, 4 of the 5 starters all played 18 minutes in the second half. They were just going to ride the starters. And I mean, the starters are your best players. They're the starters for a reason. So I understand it. You want your starters to play. But again, I think there's also some tough conversations to be had about guys like Max Rice. 37 minutes, 34 seconds, played the most minutes of anybody on the team. And he was 3 of 12 from the field. So Again, I know he has proven it. He's got the confidence to do it, but the shots just aren't falling right now. So I think it's fair to wonder if 5 minutes to a guy like Keene or something at some point during the game would maybe be something to give a shot to. So we'll see how they handle this moving forward. The single narrative to keep us in the national discussion, the home winning streak is over. Jacob is depressed. Max was 3 of 11. Stanley 3 of 10. Max finished 3 of 12. Abo, I guess the long half quarter or the long three. Cam Martin was not great, got bullied. Jason Martin wildly underproducing. How many of our starters start for UNLV? That's a good question. Don't know the answer to that. A lot more comments. New Mexico just beat Utah State. So, yeah, it's another nice home win for New Mexico. I'm still not quite sold on Utah State. We'll see what they end up down the stretch. I said that this morning. I still don't know if I would put Utah State in the top 3 when it's all said and done. I think Utah State's going to finish 4th or 5th, and I may be wrong, but we'll see about that. The sky is falling, according to Josh. Andrew says quad 3 loss sucks. Yeah, there's a chance it could get up to quad 2. But we'll see by the end of it what it ends up looking like. Right now, quad 3 and not a good loss. Let's take a 90-second timeout. We'll hear from Tyson Degenhart coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll hear from Tyson Degenhart, his thoughts on the loss, back in 90 seconds on the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show.
All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of premix premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. For all your commercial, industrial, residential painting needs, check out rowpaint.com. Don't forget about their concrete coatings. Transform that ugly concrete slab on your back patio in your garage in just one day. Contact rowpaint.com for a free estimate today. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union's been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. There's an ICCU branch on almost every corner, but the closest is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. See why more than 500,000 members love ICCU, and join 1 in 4 Idahoans by making the switch today at ICCU.com. Since 1984, Ridley's Family Markets has prided itself on being a hometown food and drug store that employed value members of the local community. Ridley's Family Markets has 13 locations in the state of Idaho and many more in the surrounding states. Download the new Ridley's app to your smartphone, get savings up to 40% off at the checkout line, and find a location near you at shopridleys.com. Former Bronco Matt Bauscher is once again the number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley. No home is too big or too small for Matt and his team. Let them fulfill all your real estate needs at BauscherRealEstate.com.
Back here on the Lithia Ford of Boise postgame show. Don't forget to check out Bronco Brew Coffee. You can check them out at broncobrew.coffee, and they got the freshly roasted, delicious coffee, and you're helping the NIL game at Boise State with every sip. So if you get a chance, broncobrew.coffee. Check them out. Fresh roasted coffee, and again, every bag you buy, a couple bucks goes straight into the NIL fund at Boise State and helps support student athletes there. And it was good to see JL Skinner back at the game tonight. Saw him sitting courtside. He was with Ashton Genty and a couple other players as well. So good to see JL Skinner back. But speaking of NIL and Ashton Genty, but again, tough one tonight. Boise State falls 68-64. Your comments are still rolling in on the ICCU YouTube chat. We'll take those throughout the evening. ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is the mobile eBranch online banking, the app on your phone. It's so easy. And I highly recommend ICCU, and we appreciate the fine folks at ICCU for helping us out there. Let's see what we got. Kind of got exposed in the paint tonight. That is a couple games in a row where teams have now started to figure out the formula on Omar Stanley. You just double team him, and Boise State has not been able to have a ton of success when they're double teaming Omar Stanley. So they got to figure out some way to get him going because he's not been the same player the last couple of games. Jordan Morales, weird to see a loss at home. Last one was South Dakota State, UNLV at 86th. Yeah, not a terrible loss, but as of right now, it's a quad 3 loss. So we'll have to see moving forward what it is. But let's see. Call this shot and put it on us. Talking about Whaley, I assume. Yeah, you had a huge game. Let's see. I will say this about the crowd. I said it on the pregame show, and I got ripped for it, but the announced attendance, which is just tickets given out, that's not the actual people there, was only listed at 9,863. So you had well more than 2,000 open seats that weren't even sold, and you had more than that as well. The third deck was pretty much empty. Even the second deck had completely open rows. And other than a couple key moments, the crowd was pretty much non-existent tonight. And you guys can rip me for it, say what you want. I don't know if it was the weather, the 8 o'clock start. I think some fans were looking past this game to Saturday's game against San Diego State, but I tried to warn you guys. They needed a big, loud crowd tonight. That was going to be a big factor, and I don't really think it was. Those of you that showed up, you did your best, but it wasn't full, and it was hard to make the noise we had heard at some of these other games. It was not nearly as loud as the Colorado State game, in my opinion. And that's fine. You want to say, here goes BJ bashing on the fans again. That's fine. But I'm surprised for a team that was on the borderline of making the top 25 and pushing for, winning the Mountain West and getting back to the big dance, to have 2,000 plus tickets not even be distributed. And there were more open seats than that. There was probably 3 or 4,000 open seats tonight. Those that showed up did the best they could. I just didn't think it was that loud. When you go to a game at New Mexico or the Pit, every single time, the entire game, every single possession, the other team brings the ball down the court. It is deafening for them when New Mexico is on defense. I didn't think the crowd made a ton of noise tonight, other than a couple key spots late in the game. I thought UNLV, and let's be honest, the crowd didn't have much to cheer about tonight. Boise State didn't play great. UNLV took them out of what they wanted to do, and there was not a lot to cheer about tonight. So you can blame that on the players, coaches, whoever, if you'd like. But I thought for a game of this magnitude, there were a lot of open seats tonight. And again, I know the snow is coming, and I know that the weather's not great. And I know it was an 8 o'clock start and all that kind of stuff. But I just thought that that was one thing that I thought was a little disappointing, was what the crowd ended up being at the end of the game. I thought the students did pretty good. I thought Section 12 was rocking. But I thought that I just didn't think the energy was even close to the atmosphere of the Colorado State game. And Tech says everybody was waiting for Saturday. I don't know if that's the case or not, but it seemed like that for a team that has the nation's longest home court winning streak. And again, I know I'm Bash the fan guy. That's fine. You can bash me for it. It is what it is. I went to Kansas. I understand it's not the same. But I think Boise State basketball has reached that point where they're a premier program now. They're one of the top programs in the Mountain West, and they have a home court that is very good. It can rival Viejas and the Pit and some of these road venues. And then you have a game like tonight where there just wasn't a lot of energy. So I get it. It is what it is. There was a lot of factors, but I do think that there were some folks looking ahead to Saturday, didn't really see this as being a tough game. I don't know what it was, but if you want to be a team that can help will your team through games like this, this place should have been packed tonight. This should have been a sellout. Again, I'm not bashing on the fans. I guess I am, but it is what it is. This was a game where the fans, I thought, were a little disappointing from the crowd and the attendance, and to only have the announced attendance be in the 9,000s when knowing that you had at least 2,000 plus empty seats to begin with, and then a lot of others didn't show. I mean, my wife and kids had tickets in the balcony, and they moved down to like 7th row from the court and watched most of the game down there because there were like complete open rows. So that is disappointing. And if you're Leon Rice, I know you're not going to come out and bash the fans, but I just didn't think the energy was there, especially on defense, to help Boise State through this. Jordan says truth. Huge energy drop off from last Tuesday. 3 or 4 rows from Section 12 can't carry the whole arena. Agree with that. Derek says the crowd has a long way to go to be top 3 in the Mountain West. Nights like tonight, you question how much the community actually loves college basketball. It's a process for sure. It's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make this some thing where I just bash on the fans for a half an hour, but you go look at the Pit and these other places. It was a Tuesday night, 8:30 game tonight, and the Pit was sold out and packed and rocking. It's a lot of these other places. There's not, oh, it's an 8 o'clock start. Oh, it's a little cold. Oh, it just seems like it's very convenient for folks to have reasons to not want to come to these games. And I don't understand it. And again, you would think, I thought Boise State, because they had some great crowds early in the year, North Texas, and they had some great crowds. Utah Valley was a big crowd. The third level was packed. Boise State was offering $5 tickets today at the last minute, and that's how desperate they were to get fans in the building, and it didn't seem to work. So I know there's a lot of reasons. I know it's your hard-earned money, and there's other things going on. But if for a town that has almost 1 million people in it now in the outskirts, you want to be a big time basketball program, you can't have the third and second levels as empty as they were tonight. I just thought that was disappointing. And like I said, it just did not have the same energy or enthusiasm as the Colorado State game. Not even close. I'll just say that. So let's see. A lot of old fans in the stands get visibly annoyed when people are loud. I think it's just a different demographic than other programs. Us that are loud at least try. Mike, I'll give you that, I guess. But there also was a lot of empty seats to begin with as well. Big high school night in the Valley. I get that. Harsh facts. Not a crowd deserving of a top 25 team. Amen. Maybe 3 days of doubleheader NFL playoffs. Everybody was burnt. Got to get Malachi to show up for the game. People will come. Again, that's sad if that's actually the true fact to bring a football player. Dan says, you're a KU guy. KU has history at basketball. BSU has none, never. I thought they were getting to that point, though. I mean, I thought they were at the point now where fans had bought in. I thought we had turned the point on the community there. But it is weak crowd energy for sure. I was just a little surprised there wasn't more there tonight. But I know they're not Duke, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Kansas, Kentucky. I get it. But I just, it could have been better tonight. And I do think that ended up being a factor in the game because UNLV, you could hear a pin drop in there a lot of times when Boise State had the ball. And I think there was this nervous energy, and Boise State on offense was just kind of nervous because it was really quiet. And then on defense, there were some times down the stretch in the second half where they made a little noise, but I thought UNLV was pretty comfortable. They could hear, they were doing what they wanted to do. They didn't seem rattled at all. And I thought the crowd, in my opinion, wasn't very loud or that into the game tonight. So it is what it is. We're not going to spend the whole time talking about that. Let's hear from Let's hear from Tyson Degenhart. Get your comments, your thoughts in. We're taking them on the ICCU YouTube chat. Tyson Degenhart talking with the media after the loss. Well, we may not be hearing from Tyson Degenhart. I apologize. We don't think we have any audio from... Okay, I'll have to work on that, but it doesn't look like we have any audio from Tyson, which means we may not have any audio from Leon Rice as well. Maybe I can try on a commercial break to see if somebody else can... I don't think you guys were hearing that, right? Were you guys hearing... Were you guys hearing that or not? Let me know, because I did not hear anything from Tyson there. We'll see if Leon's any better. Are you guys ready? It seemed like the rebound tonight, particularly on the offensive end for them, was given the 15-second chance points. How surprising was that, given how you guys did?
Well, not surprising. I mean, I guess surprising is not the word. Maybe, yeah, they're athletic, they're big, they're strong, and they went after the balls. And, we had some stops too. Those were almost stops, and we just didn't finish it, So, you got to play at a high level every night to win games in this league. It's just, I knew how good these guys were. They got their last game, they'd won the game. I mean, they played great. And, it's just that it went through a tough thing. But you got to give UNLV a lot of credit. They came in here and played a tough game, and they were tough that first 10 minutes especially. They came out and really got after us and set a tone. And, so give them a ton of credit. And, but when all the dust settles, it's, like I always say, there's two things that don't last. Dogs that chase cars and teams that don't make free throws. You gotta make free throws down the stretch, and we missed two front ends to guys that there's no one I'd rather have at the line. So that's just the game of basketball, and you gotta play great in this league. And then the other thing you gotta be able to do is respond from a tough heartache. I mean, I got guys that like to win, and it's not like it gets any easier on any night here forward. So they have to respond, and you got another great opportunity Saturday and another great team coming in Saturday. And so, yeah, it's a tough one. And I do know we competed, I know our guys competed, and so did they. There's going to be a lot of that in the Mountain West this year.
Between the 16 second chance points with 15 points off turnovers, and then, like you said, the missed free throws, just how much of a killer is that combination?
Yeah, I mean, that's the formula for winning a game, but we were still right there with the chance. And so, one or two plays, it's always, it's usually going to be that. And, you look at all these games that we just played, and what a gauntlet we're running. And you start at San Jose, and then, Colorado State and Nevada, and now these guys, and then another one, another great one. I mean, if you're a competitor, you got to love this. If you're a basketball fan, you got to love this league. And you can't get too high and you can't get too low, because this team that wins this league could have 4 losses, maybe even more. I mean, it's a league where everybody can beat somebody on a given night if they play well.
Came in only combined for 9 points. Tyson only had 5 in the first half. What do UNLV do that gave you guys so much problems in the post? They kind of neutralized your post.
Yeah, they did a good job of doubling, and so there's 2 things about when you face a double. Number one, you can't just say I'm going to beat it with my ability and go through the double, and you got to beat it with your scheme and your mind, but then you still have to be aggressive. So it's a fine line. You want those guys being aggressive out of it too, and not let the double take you out of what we do. And so, the great thing about like Omar especially is he's a smart player. He's a learner. You've seen his growth so far. Well, he's going to grow in this aspect too. This is going to be no different because he's hungry to do it. He's coachable. We'll help him, and the team will help him, and he'll get better and better at it. And then, then he'll make him pay for doubling.
UNLV outscored your bench 20-2.
Yeah.
How much do you just kind of need those guys to continue to plug away for you and spell your starters?
Yeah, no doubt. And they got to give us stuff off the bench, no doubt. And that's big. And they got to make it so you don't look and go, well, it's looking different now that those guys are in. It shouldn't. It shouldn't look different. And that first group was competing their tail off, and there was some minutes where maybe it looked different. It can't be like that.
You had the 4 of your 5 starters all played at least 18 minutes in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
What can those guys do if they're not getting a ton of time on in games, at least, to show that
No, they can. You don't need a ton of time. You need if you get 1 second, it's got to be a good second. There's no charity. It's not a video game where I'm taking a powered down guy that's playing his tail off and playing hard and playing for the team than a guy that looks like he's playing about half the speed of the other guys. That won't happen.
Tyson, he was scoreless. I think he was scoreless about 6 minutes to go in the second half. He was at the 24, and down the stretch, he was just kind of trying to display that will to win.
Yeah.
What do you see out of Tyson?
And that's Tyson. I mean, we got winners. I mean, just because the ball doesn't go in on a few free throws and just a few plays here and there doesn't change the way we all think about them or should think about them. We got winners up and down our roster, and they'll respond. Like I said, I'm not being hard on the bench. They'll respond, and if they don't, because I know they will. But if they weren't responding, well, you got to. I mean, it's not gifted to you. You got to go earn it every night. And same with the starters, doesn't matter who you are, you got to go fight every night to earn everything you're going to get at this level in college basketball.
When you say something a little different from the bench, what exactly do you mean?
Energy. Got to play really, really hard.
You had 2 big wins last week, and I know it's going to be up and down in conference play. Every team's good, but to follow up that with the game Saturday, how do you let this just not this become one, not become?
It's always about response. Whether you win or lose, it's about response, and it's about understanding the level you have to play at. When you're playing good team after good team after good team, and like I said before, that team we played tonight is a lot better than their record. You saw that. I mean, one of their best players has only played 8 games, now 9. They got him eligible, and so that they're starting to click, and that we knew that there was no underestimating them. There was none of that. maybe the fans or maybe other people were talking about something down the road, but we weren't. They just came in and played a tough game, and we knew it would be that, and we had our chances on certain things here and there, and we didn't get done.
Tyson's first point came a minute 13 left in the first half when he finished with 24. What can you say about what his effort there in the second half?
Yeah, and that's Tyson. He doesn't, there's no, that guy's a great competitor, and, that doesn't surprise me, something like that. He had to get 24 in the last, 21 minutes. That's pretty impressive.
I was kind of talking about today. You guys haven't had, a lot of slow starts, and even if it was a little slow on offense, your defense carried you. And last slow start, I think I go back to, North Texas, which seems like forever ago. What did you want to see out of your team that first 10 minutes that UNLV was able to bring in? It was a little tough to match early on.
Well, you can't, I always tell our guys, you can't tiptoe into a street fight. And that started out as a street fight, and we were tiptoeing.
Anything else? Thanks, Leon.
That's a bummer. It's my mom's 100th birthday.
Oh, wow.
So,
Your mother?
yep.
Is 100 today?
Well, she's been dead for 20 years, but yeah, it's her birthday. We like to win on her birthday. Yeah. So, it's a bummer. Sorry, Mom.
There is Leon Rice talking with the media after the game. Again, Boise State falls 68-64. I just got a word from Boise State that the Tyson Degenhardt sound issue was on their end, not on our end, so they were apologizing for that. So don't blame BNN for the Tyson Degenhardt audio not working. We need to take another quick 90-second timeout. We'll take some more of your comments and your thoughts, and we'll talk about the bench a little bit and what they can do to be better after this. Don't go anywhere. Back in 90 seconds on Bronco Nation News. We'll also hear from Perry Webster from UNLV. He talked to the media after the game as well. So we'll be back in 90 seconds. Don't go anywhere.
Bronco Nation News is sponsored by Tommy Alquist and Ball Ventures Alquist, Idaho's premier commercial real estate development company. BVA projects specialize in office, retail, flex, medical, and industrial spaces located at some of the most strategic and visible locations in the valley. Need a developer? Looking for new space? Think BVA. At BVA, we are Idaho's developer. The Nicolason family and SON management have proudly been operating Taco Bell restaurants in and around the Treasure Valley since 1969. One of the first to make a 7-figure donation to the Lyle Smith Society, they've also stepped up their support of Boise State athletics with the Taco Bell men's and women's basketball endowed scholarships. The Nicolason family and SON management have committed at least $310,000 by 2026. Get more information on their financial support of Boise State athletics and find information on applying to work at Taco Bell at TacoBellWorks.com. Lithia Ford of Boise is a proud supporter of Boise State athletics and the official car and truck of the Broncos. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Bronco student athletes through NIL deals, including providing Ford vehicles to Taylon Green and Riley Smith from the football team and Paige Barsh from the volleyball team. Rain's family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. Couldn't be happier with the purchase. Check out the all-electric F-150 Lightning or the electric Mustang Mach-E at Lithia Ford, and make sure to check out their full inventory of vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. The Blue and Orange Store is the perfect spot to get all your gear for your next Bronco game. The Blue and Orange Store has official Nike apparel, including jerseys, shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, and more. Wear what the Broncos wear and get it at the Blue and Orange Store, the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall, or get free shipping on a $40 order online at theblueandorangestore.com.
All right. Drop to 57 in Ken Palm. We got Leon is pretty clear about the bench guys not playing hard. I'm guessing in practice where we don't see that. And you can, again, look at the stats and say Max Rice is playing too much. He was 3 of 12, 37 minutes. You can say that. But again, who would you put in? And if you're going to say RJ Keene, the coaches don't think RJ Keene deserves those minutes. So it's hard for us to argue that or bash that at this point. He was very clear that I think he was talking a little bit about Jace Whiting. He came in at one point and either had a bad pass or stepped on the line or something. And right away you saw literally 30 seconds later, Leon went right back to Roddy Anderson, was like, go back in. That's it. So his leash is pretty short right now with the bench. But, again, they've got to earn those minutes to deserve being in the game. So, obviously, all 4 starters play over 30 minutes. Stanley would have played more, but he was in a little bit of foul trouble. We had 36 minutes for Degenhardt, 34 for Roddy Anderson, 34 for Abo, and 37 for Rice. if we have an entire bench not playing hard, is that a coaching issue? I don't know if it's just playing hard. And again, we don't know if it's a practice thing, a game thing. They're not getting a lot of game time, so it's hard to see. But 15 total bench points in 4 conference games, just not enough for Boise State. That's probably something I'll write about tomorrow. I'm going to write my game story here in a little bit. But probably tomorrow I'll focus on the bench and what they can do there, because that's certainly something that is a interesting situation moving forward there, because they thought this bench was going to be very deep, thought it was going to be very good, but to this point, the bench has just not produced at the level that Boise State expected them to. And so their bench was pretty much non-existent tonight. And so, you're playing some pretty good teams moving forward here, and you got to find a way to get some bench points going. So, again, Cam Martin got 11 minutes, Andrew Meadow got 9, and Jace Whiting got 5. But again, Andrew Meadow played 9 minutes, but didn't take a shot and had 1 rebound. So Andrew Meadow was -8. I mean, I know plus minus in basketball is different. It's not the same as, say, hockey or something, but the worst plus minus tonight was -8 for Andrew Meadow, and he only played 9 minutes. Jace Whiting was -4 in 5 minutes. Cam Martin was -3 in 11 minutes. Your 3 worst plus minus ratings, the 3 worst were your 3 bench guys, Cam Martin, Andrew Meadow, and Jace Whiting. So when they came in there, they wasn't looking good, and Leon got them out of there pretty quickly. So tough one. Again, UNLV had 15 points off turnovers and 16 second chance points, 31 points out of their 68, which Boise State essentially gave to them because of lack of effort and lack of execution at times. But again, Boise State only shoots 39%. That's another game where Boise State's struggling from 3. That's 6 of 21 from 3-point range. Boise State was 5 of 22, I think, in the Nevada game. So that's another game where they struggle from the field, especially from 3-point range. You had Abo 2 for 7, Rice 2 of 6, Stanley 0 of 2. I love Omar Stanley, but he does not need to be shooting 3-pointers. I know he can make one once in a while, but I would rather have pretty much anybody else shooting threes than Omar Stanley. He's better in the post. He's better in the paint. I know he can hit one once in a while, but I'd rather see Anderson or Abo or Rice or Degenhart taking that shot. Degenhart was 2 of 4 from 3. Anderson was 0 of 2. And again, Boise State 6 of 21 from downtown in this game, and just couldn't make some of the outside shots. And then, again, it just came down to the rebounding. Boise State was number 8 in the country in defensive rebounding. UNLV, not a great rebounding team, and they come in here and get 13 offensive rebounds and turn that into 16 second chance points, and that's your game. That is your game. A couple of times Boise State would play great defense for 25 seconds and then couldn't get a stop, right? Couldn't get the rebound after there'd be a missed shot, and then they wouldn't get the rebound, and they'd give up another whole possession where you have to play defense and try to make another stop. That happened with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in the game. Boise State was only down by 2, I believe, at the time, and or 3. What were they down at that point? They were down 59-61. Tyson Degenhart had scored a kind of a runner and was going like this, and you're only down 2, and then you give up an offensive rebound with 1 minute and 30 seconds left, give them a new possession, and then they end up scoring number 2 with 1 minute and 11 seconds left, scored a big bucket there at the end of the shot clock to kind of, what I really thought was the dagger. So tough one for Boise State, but again, if you can win on Saturday, you can get back on track, but this certainly puts you in a hole. When you look at the home schedule, you got to win the home games. They were in a great position to win the league, and it's early in the season. They got a lot of games left. They're still 3-1 in league, and I think still tied for first place, but losing a home game to UNLV is not ideal for what the plans were that they had moving forward. So weather's not great. I'm going to try to go ahead and get home and get my story written. Again, I'll have a full game story written tonight, and then sometime tomorrow I'll write a story on the bench and get that posted as well for paying subscribers of BNN. So hopefully you will check out BroncoNationNews.com, and hopefully someone's asking about a sellout on Saturday. We'll see. I mean, there's already less tickets left than there were tonight, and I think Saturday needs to be a needs to be a sellout and 11 a.m. game. There shouldn't be a lot of excuses on that one, but they're going to need everything they have to get this win because you really need to bounce back with a big win, and to get another win over one of the top teams in the league would just be a massive achievement for Boise State on Saturday, and even bigger now that you lost to UNLV. So huge game on Saturday. We'll have all week to talk about it. John Mallory, Johnny Ballgame from KTIK Radio. He will join me at 9 a.m. tomorrow. So 9 a.m. tomorrow, Bronco Nation News Live. John Mallory will be with me, and we will hear from him and get his thoughts on this one and where they're at this point. But BNN50 deal is the promo code. We'd love to have you subscribe. You can read all of my post-game content, bronconationnews.com. And again, I'll have a column tomorrow on the bench and what needs to happen there. And I think that it's a tough one for Boise State, but still a lot of reasons to have some optimism. And it starts with finding a way to get a win on Saturday. They can win on Saturday. They're 4-1, and they're still in pretty good shape. So going to need a big crowd on Saturday, and going to need one of Boise State's best efforts of the season. Tomorrow night, you can watch San Diego State. They are hosting Nevada. Nevada is at San Diego State tomorrow night. So check that out tomorrow night and get a look at San Diego State heading in to Saturday's game. So go subscribe if you can, bronconationnews.com. Go make sure you're following all of our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Somebody was asking about what the broadcast schedule is. If you go to YouTube and you just turn on the notifications, then you'll get a notification on your phone anytime we go live. And that's the easiest way to know. But we're live weekday mornings at 9 a.m. And then we're live an hour before the game with the pregame show, and then about a little bit after the game with the postgame shows as well. So appreciate all you guys for hanging with us. I know it wasn't a fun postgame after the loss at almost midnight. We still went 50 minutes here and still have a good amount of people watching. So always appreciate you guys sticking through even after the losses. But again, certainly some things Boise State has to work on, certainly some things that have to improve. But I think that, there's opportunities still for that to happen here. And again, not the end of the world, but it was a tough one tonight, and we'll see if they can get it back. They'll have to win one of the other road games or win another game that you didn't expect them to try to even it out here, but certainly possible. So solid takes all around. Appreciate for that, TN. Have a great rest of your night. Be safe with the snow. Hopefully no snow day tomorrow. All our kids can hopefully go to school. But stay safe with the snow, and go subscribe if you can. Again, bronconationnews.com. Appreciate you, and we'll talk to you at 9 a.m. John Mallory and myself, 9 a.m. Boise State again falls 68-64. The Broncos fall to 12-5 overall, 3-1 in conference play, and we'll see where they end up in the net rankings tomorrow. And that'll do it. From ExtraMile Arena, the Cutwater Studios, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Go pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Our title sponsor, Lithia Ford Boise. Check them out, lithiafordboise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. My F-150 from Lithia Ford, the four-wheel drive, is going to get me home safely tonight. Highly recommend the vehicles at Lithia Ford of Boise. And, of course, our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. All your painting needs. ROEpaint.com, industrial, commercial, residential, interior, exterior, the concrete coatings, siding, anything you need, they can take care of you at Row Painting. So check them out. We appreciate our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Tough one for Boise State. Again, the final 68-64. They'll get another chance to get a big win on Saturday against San Diego State. We'll talk to you at 9 a.m. tomorrow, John Mallory and myself on BNN Live. And again, I'll have a post-game story about 1 or 2 o'clock this morning, and then I'll have a story on the bench coming at some point tomorrow. We'll talk to you guys later. Appreciate you. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com.